Students, in the previous video lecture, we have defined what is potential gradient. Potential gradient is voltage dropped per unit length. Voltage dropped per unit length, and unit of potential gradient is volt per meter. And we have even learned that voltage dropped across particular wire V is equal to pi V into L, right? And we have discussed one example also for proof of this V is equal to pi V into L. It means that when you are connecting any wire to some battery along with an external resistor, this is external resistor along with a tap key, and this is a wire of length AB. When you are connecting some voltage V here, the battery potential is V. There will be some voltage dropped across this resistor. I consider it as VR. And there will be some voltage dropped across this wire AB. Okay. So when you are taking any wire, connecting it in an electrical circuit, voltage dropped across that wire, is directly proportional to length of the wire. If length of the wire is greater, then potential drop will be greater. If length of the wire is smaller, potential drop in that wire will also be decreased because length is decreased. So remember that voltage dropped across that particular conducting wire is directly proportional to its length. Less is the length, voltage dropped will be less. More is the length, more will be the voltage dropped across that particular length. Okay. Now let us take this circuit. What I'll do, I'll be taking AB, a wire, and I will be connecting it to an external circuit along with a resistor which is in series. This battery has potential V, and you are connecting it to a jockey. This is J. Okay. Now if at all you are connecting this jockey to this point B, therefore what you can write, voltage AB is directly proportional to length AB. Suppose if you are not connecting this jockey to B, if you are connecting that jockey to this region, you are taking this jockey and you are connecting that jockey to this point, and this point I consider it as X. Now what is the effective length in the circuit? Effective length in the circuit is only AX. Therefore there will be voltage dropped here. That voltage dropped is VAX. VAX is directly proportional to length AX. Remember that. However, voltage dropped in the previous case and voltage dropped in this case will be same, because there will be some voltage here. Say for example, if 10 voltage you are providing, this resistor value does not change. Resistor value will remain same. As a result, if suppose there is 3 voltage dropped across this resistor, in the previous case 7 voltage is dropped across AB. For the total length AB, 7 voltage is dropped because it is length AB. Now what you are doing is you are connecting the jockey to X point. So even though like you have this wire, even though this wire from X to B it is useless. X to B it is useless because you are shorting the wire with a jockey by positioning it at X. Therefore, effective length of the circuit of this wire is AX now. Now also, how much voltage is left over here? 3 voltage is dropped across the resistor. 7 voltage is dropped across this AX length. Therefore, the total voltage dropped now is 7 volt. It is proportional to length AX only. Clear? Therefore, remember that the voltage drop changes with respect to, like, the potential gradient pi is equal to V divided by L. So in this circuit, in this particular circuit, as length is being changed, maintaining voltage same and as well as resistor value is the same. As length is being changed, voltage dropped will be same 7 volt, but potential gradient pi will be varied in this case. What is pi initial? Pi initial is equal to 7 volt divided by length AB. What is pi final? Same 7 voltage is dropped across the length AX. Okay, so as length is variable, voltage is remained constant, potential gradient is changed. If length is maintained constant, potential gradient will be varied with respect to applied voltage. So understand that concept clearly. So that is what potential gradient mean. Now using the concept of potential gradient, we will be constructing potentiometer. As we have already learnt, a potentiometer is an instrument which can measure accurately the EMF of a source or a potential difference across any part of an electrical circuit. So in order to find out potential difference across any part of the circuit, or in order to find out EMF of the given cell, we will be using potentiometer. And the principle of potentiometer is, when a constant current is passing through a wire of uniform area of cross section, the potential drop across any portion of the wire is directly proportional to length of that particular wire. So you can simply write potential dropped across that wire is directly proportional to length of the wire if pi and I are constants. So that means if the potential gradient of the wire is constant and if current passing through the circuit is constant, in such cases, the voltage dropped across that particular wire is directly proportional to its length. That is the principle of constructing potentiometer. So the principle of potentiometer require these two conditions. First condition is that potentiometer wire should be of uniform area of cross section. The wire should have uniform cross sectional area. And number two, current through the wire should remain constant. If these two conditions are satisfied, then only we can construct potentiometer, and that potentiometer gives the proper value of EMF of the unknown battery. So these conditions you need to keep it in your mind when we are dealing with potentiometer. So principle is potential gradient. Principle of constructing potentiometer is potential gradient. So the voltage dropped across the wire is directly proportional to length of the wire if current in that wire is maintained uniform and potential gradient of that wire remains constant. This is circuit diagram of potentiometer. Circuit diagram of potentiometer consists of two parts. One is primary circuit, other one is a secondary circuit. Primary circuit consists of a standard battery whose EMF is E. This is standard battery, EMF is E. And this is internal resistance of the standard battery denoted with small r. There is a tap key here. This is a plug key or tap key, anyone you can use. And here is a series resistor which is connected in series with the battery and wire. Here is wire AB. This is wire AB. Right? Now, in the primary circuit consists of a standard battery with some internal resistance R along with a series resistor connected to a wire AB. And length of the wire can vary from 1 meter to 10 meter. Unlike meter bridge, here we can take the wire length from 1 meter to 10 meter. You can use any length of the wire. Usually it can be in between 1 meter and 10 meter, even less than 1 meter also you can use. That's not at all an issue. But definitely you can vary the length of the wire. It may be up to 10 meter. It can be increased up to 10 meter. So that upper portion is called primary circuit of that given potentiometer. And in the bottom portion, which is called secondary circuit, in the secondary circuit, we have an EMF which is connected over here. This is unknown cell. This is unknown cell. Whose EMF you want to find out, that will be connected here, which is known as unknown cell. Unknown cell EMF you do not know. And there is HR. HR stands for high resistor box. And this high resistance box offer very high resistance over here. Along with this high resistor box, there is a galvanometer. This is symbol of galvanometer. Along with the galvanometer, it is connected to a jockey. This is jockey. So bottom portion of the potentiometer consists of a slot for unknown battery. This will be the slot generally. A slot for unknown battery. You can place unknown battery here, which is connected in series with high resistor along with a galvanometer and a jockey. Jockey can be scrolled on the wire AB. You can place the jockey at position A and you can slide that jockey on the wire AB. As you are sliding the jockey on AB wire, the length, the effective length of the wire increases depending on the position of the jockey. Therefore, the bottom portion of the circuit is in parallel with this portion AD. Check it up. So A is the initial position of the wire and D is the point where you are placing jockey. The upper portion AD of the wire is in parallel with this bottom secondary circuit. Okay, so AD is now connected in parallel with the secondary circuit, which is at the bottom of wire AB. Yeah, students, we have learned two conditions when we are dealing with potentiometer. So point number 1, wire should have uniform cross-sectional area. Wire will have uniform cross-sectional area. So take care that you are taking wire AB whose area of cross-section is uniform. If the wire is non-uniform, resistance dropped across the wire will not be uniform. Resistance of the wire, if it is not uniform, potential dropped across different parts of the wire will be different. Therefore, you cannot exactly calculate EMF of the unknown cell. Therefore, cross-sectional area of the wire which you are taking in between AB should be uniform. That's point number 1. Point number 2, here we are connecting a standard EMF. Standard EMF potential will be always remained same, that is E. It should not vary because I should be maintained constant in the primary circuit. I is constant. When in order to maintain I as constant, the battery EMF, standard EMF battery will not be changed. That will be remained same. So if I want to calculate this current I passing through the wire, I can be written as I is equal to standard EMF is E divided by internal resistance is R plus external series resistor is RS plus resistance of the wire AB. This is current passing through the wire AB. And this wire AB length should be varied from 1 meter to 10 meter as I mentioned. Depending upon the wire length, there will be some current flowing through that particular circuit. And remember that, however, this should be maintained uniform. uniform current should flow through this wire AB. That's point number 2 you need to remember. Now when uniform current is flowing through this wire AB, you want to find out unknown EMF of the cell which is being connected over here. You want to find out unknown EMF of this cell. So what I do, upper portion you just put it aside, bottom portion I will now draw here. Take this part AB, and this AB is a wire. AB is a wire and it is connected with these 2 points, and I name this as like P and Q, and from here you are connecting it to a high resistor box, and from here you are connecting it to a galvanometer, and along with the galvanometer you are connecting it to a jockey J. Okay, now in between P and Q, whatever you want you can use. You can take one cell, you can take 2 cells in between PQ and connect each at a time. You can find out unknown resistance of the cell, like depending upon our utility you will be using this slot PQ. So in the first case I want to find out EMF of the unknown cell. So what I do, first I will switch on this primary circuit and I will measure how much current is flowing in the primary circuit, and making sure that uniform current is flowing in the primary circuit, then I will connect the jockey to the wire AB. Okay, so in the circuit PQ, in the slot PQ, I will take this battery of EMF E. You do not know what is its value, and you will be connecting it along with the tap key. You will be switching on this tap key, and this jockey is placed initially at point A. And when the jockey at point A is placed, at this point A it is placed, and you will be just scrolling it, you will be just sliding the jockey on the wire AB, and you will be measuring galvanometer reading. Okay, so if jockey is placed at this point, galvanometer, if it is showing some deflection, it means that in the above part and below part potentials are not equal. You will be again, as potentials are not equal, you will just slide the jockey some more distance. Now let us consider you are placing jockey at this point. I consider this point as alpha. When you are placing jockey at position alpha, you are able to see that galvanometer is showing null deflection. So at length A alpha, galvanometer show null deflection. As it is showing null deflection, it means that potential across wire A alpha is equal to EMF of the cell which you are connecting in the slot PQ. Is it not? If and only if the EMF which is connected over here in the slot PQ, if its potential is equal to potential dropped across this length A alpha, then only there will be no deflection in the galvanometer. If potentials are equal, there will be no current flowing through this galvanometer. If potentials are not equal, then definitely current will be flowing from high potential to low potential. For example, if this EMF is 10 volt, I'll take one example. If this EMF is 10 volt and I am placing this jockey at this position, say 1, potential dropped across this A1, if it is 5 volt and the bottom potential is 10 volt, both are not equal. As a result, current will be flowing from PQ slot to A1. Current will be flowing through this. Likewise, as galvanometer is showing null deflection, what you will do? You will take this jockey and you will slide it to position 2. Now as you are increasing the length, the potential dropped across this will be increased. It would now become 7 volt. 7 volt is not equal to 10 volt which you are connecting in slot PQ. Therefore, galvanometer show deflection. There will be some current in the circuit. As a result, what you will do? You will now remove that jockey from position 2. You will change it to position 3. Then it become 8 volt. 8 volt not equal to 10 volt. Then you will again slide it to position alpha. At alpha, you are being shown null deflection in the galvanometer. What does it mean? Bottom you have 10 voltage which is connected in between PQ. In A alpha, in this length also, if same 10 voltage is dropped, if the same 10 voltage is dropped in between A and alpha, then only in the upper part A alpha 10 voltage is left, and in the bottom portion you are connecting with a battery whose EMF is 10 volt. Potential in the upper part and the bottom part is the same. As a result, galvanometer deflection is 0. It means no current flow from secondary circuit to the primary circuit, or from primary circuit to secondary circuit, no current flow. That is the basic principle involved in constructing potentiometer. Now come here. We have got voltage dropped across A alpha is equal to potential across PQ, which you are connecting in between the slot PQ. Now what is VA alpha? VA alpha can be written as pi into length L, length A alpha, which is equal to EPQ. Pi is already known. You can calculate pi value. Pi is equal to voltage, total voltage dropped over this AB, that is equal to E. Or you can write it as pi is equal to voltage dropped across length AB divided by its length L. Total length is length AB. Now pi you can substitute here. VAB divided by LAB into LA alpha is equal to EPQ. Now check it up. Length of the wire AB, 10 meter you are taking. AB wire 10 meter, you will be substituting here. Length of the wire A alpha. A alpha, you know, you can measure it using a scale. It can be 2 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 1 meter, 1.5 meter. That value you will be substituting. This is known. This is known. And VAB, voltage dropped across the total wire AB. Voltage dropped across the total wire AB will be equal to current into its resistance R. So you can just find out that AB potential dropped across. You can find out this by the primary circuit. All the three values are known. You can find out EMF of the unknown cell which is connected in the slot PQ. This is the way you can find out EMF of the unknown cell by connecting it in the secondary circuit provided in the potentiometer. Yeah. Students, we already know equation for E, which is equal to V minus IR, where V is equal to voltage and E is equal to EMF of the cell. Remember, voltage and EMF both are not equal if the cell is connected with an external circuit. Now in this case, as E is equal to V minus IR, I is current passing through. From this you can just write it as IR is equal to V minus E. I'm sorry. I have made one small mistake. I have written it reversely. If the cell is connected, V is equal to E minus IR. I'm sorry. So EMF will be greater. EMF is greater in the discharging battery. E is greater than V. V is equal to E minus. We know V is equal to E minus IR. From here you can write IR is equal to E minus V. R is equal to you can write R is equal to, or you can write it as I is equal to E minus V divided by R, or you can write R is equal to E minus V divided by I. Right? Let me take this part as equation number 1. We will be using this in this potentiometer concept. This we have already discussed about potential and EMF. We have discussed in battery section. Now we have a potentiometer which is connected along with a cell. See, there is a cell E and it is internal resistor R. Here is key and this is variable resistor. This arrow mark represents that it is variable resistor. Usually it is called rheostat. Rheostat is the resistor which offer variable resistance. And AB is the wire. AB is the wire. This is primary circuit. And this is secondary circuit. This is secondary circuit. Now what you will do is, like in the primary circuit, all things will be remained same as usual. You will be measuring current in the circuit initially without connecting this jockey. Now what you will do, in the upper part everything remains same. Now what you will do, you will just place this you will be placing this E in this slot PQ. In this PQ you will first place this battery and without switching on this K dash. Okay, so understand this, no confusion. When K dash is off, first you are switching off. When K dash is off, only E is connected. Only E is connected between PQ. Right? So when K dash is off, only capital E is connected in between P and Q. Now what you will do, you will be scrolling the jockey. When you scroll the jockey on AB wire at some particular point J, you are getting a balance in the galvanometer. So how do you write now? E is equal to pi into AJ, that is length of the wire. I write it as L1. Let me take this equation as number 1. That's number 1. So first we are disconnecting K dash and we are just only placing a battery in between P and Q, and the jockey is scrolled over AB, so that at some particular point you will be getting a balancing point, and that is pi into L1, equation number 2. Let me take this as equation number 2 because already I have took it as 1. Now number 2, switch on K dash. Now when you are switching on K dash, what is the effective circuit here in the bottom? PQ is in parallel with R dash. So R dash and E are connected. R dash and E both are connected in the secondary circuit. Now previously it is only EMF, but now when you are connecting it to external resistor, what would happen? Definitely there will be some terminal voltage between this PQ. So I can now write terminal voltage is directly proportional to pi into length L2, because you are connecting an external resistor R dash in the bottom circuit. The terminal voltage between P and Q will be varied than that of the previous. As a result, the balancing length would undergo change. That balancing length I am considering it as L2. Okay, let me take this as equation number 3. Now just take ratio of equation 3 and equation 2. So we can simply write it as V is equal to, this is equal to V equal to pi L2 divided by E is equal to pi L1. Pi and pi gets cancelled. From here V by E is equal to L2 divided by L1. Take this as equation number 4. Now I want to find out internal resistance of the cell. So in order to find out internal resistance of the cell, I will be using this part. IR is equal to E minus V. Simply I will take I is equal to V divided by capital R into R, that is E minus V. Just bring this V onto the other side. R is equal to capital R divided by V into E minus V. This is R is equal to capital R into E by V minus 1. That's equation number 5. Take this 4 and substitute in equation 5. Small r is equal to capital R into, what is E by V? E by V is L1 divided by L2 minus 1. Right? What is R? R is the external resistor which you are connecting over there. R is equal to resistance of primary circuit. L1, L2 are balancing lengths. R value you know, L1, L2 balancing lengths you know. Simply you will be substituting all the values here so that you can find out internal resistance of the cell, this small r. So small r value can be calculated by using this relation capital R into L1 divided by L2 minus 1. Clear? This is the way you can find out internal resistance of the cell. Yeah, we are finding internal resistance of the cell which is connected in the primary circuit here. Check it up. See, this is E and R. This is E and this is R. R is internal resistance of the cell which is connected in the primary circuit. Okay. And capital E is the EMF which you are connecting in the slot PQ. And this capital R is resistance offered by the rheostat in the primary circuit. This capital R which we are taking in the final expression. Yeah, this is third application of potentiometer. In the first application, we have found unknown EMF. In the second application, we have found internal resistance. And in the third application, we are comparing EMF of the cells. Okay. Now let us take, we have a circuit here and this is primary and this is secondary. In the secondary circuit, we have this slot PQ as usual. And this galvanometer is provided with a switch 1 and 2. You can first you can connect this switch to 1. Next you can connect this switch to 2. Right? Let me name this as 1 itself. So this switch yes can be connected to 1 initially and then it can be connected to 2. What we are doing initially, we are connecting the switch yes is joined to 1. When the switch yes is joined to 1, the balancing length is obtained L1. That is what E1 equal to pi into L1. This is balancing length. Balancing length is L1. Now what you will do? Remove that switch. Switch yes is joined to 2. You are removing the switch and you are connecting it to 2. As a result, now E1 is off, E2 is on. E2 is equal to pi into L2, where L2 is the balancing length. Now take ratio of these two. E1 by E2 is equal to pi L1 divided by pi L2. Pi and pi gets cancelled. L1 and L2 values you can know. You will be simply measuring this length L1 and L2 using a scale. You will be substituting that lengths over here. You will be getting the ratio of unknown cells. Okay, so like that you can find out EMF of individual cell. You can find out, or you can compare EMF of the two given cells using a potentiometer, and even you can find out internal resistance of the given cell in the primary circuit. This is third application.